invitaban a todo, condorcito tocando la cumbre de la montaña, cuyos ojos invitan a todo. Ay, mi taita ya hey. Ay, na 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 na. Ay, mi taita ya hey. Ay, na 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 na. Ay, na 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 na. Ay, na 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 na. Ay, na 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 na. Ay, na 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 na. Curandero poderoso, purificando, curando todo. Guías amorosas cuidando, están restaurando el equilibrio. Prisumbró pintando la selva con amor, con colores del universo. Colibrí zumbró pintando la selva con amor, con colores del universo. Ay, mi taita ya hey. Ay, na 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 na. Ay, mi taita ya hey. Ay, na 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 na. Ay, na 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 na.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in tonight. All watchers and future watchers, as you know, I love to ask, how are you doing today? I pray that you all had a wonderful week, a productive week. I have, it's something I wish on you all too. Please take your time to share this video with at least one person that you care about, as this video may assist in your liberation. Let me make this make sense. Give me one moment. Let me add to the stage. Let me take this and let me share this link a few times. It didn't share on Instagram, so I'm going to try this again. Give me one moment. let's see. Click me now. Okay. And we're going to share this. Share to 42 people. All right. Send. Let's just send it around a few times. And then we'll get into the video or the exposure, right? So, with that being said, earlier this week, um, I made a statement that not only is found in my book, but it's found in many other texts and it's found in many other historical documents. What usually happens when I say something, being that this information is fairly rare, people tend to want to argue against it. They don't take the time to research it. They don't take the time to attempt to understand it, right? They just, again, like I said, they just try to argue against it. Their whole goal is to make sure that I'm wrong, right? It's not about what's right and what's wrong at this point. It's now to the point about who's right and who's wrong. So I said that to say this. I'm going to pull up a few posts first. And I'm starting it off this way cuz going to end up doing his thing. But I have to go back a few days. And in this post, what I stated was that the Yamasee Confederacy was basically founded by the Yama or the Tama people and people that are known as Wale. And these are different groups of Wale, right? So these could be people who basically were not Christian and they decided like, okay, we're gonna take the time, we're gonna vibe with those that are incoming into the land. Now, an important part about this is when I made this statement, there was a woman, and I made the statement days ago, but there's a woman who is Yamasi, and what she said after I made that statement is that she wouldn't claim anything to do with the Tama because the Tama are racist. Now, I wish I could find this comment. It's going to take me forever to scroll down this page. But what I wish to explain is that when you're dealing with people who claiming tribes, you have to do your due diligence and make sure that they even understand what's going on. For her to be a tribal mother, and I'm going to call her out on this, Lita Palmer, for you to be a tribal mother or a clan mother, but you don't know that you don't know what your tribal name is, that's a fucking shame. Because you've been in this tribe for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, and you'll make the statement that you wouldn't claim anything to do with the Tama, not understanding that the Tama and the Yama are the same people. This is a lesson that I gave a few days ago. Many people will remember. But what you also must remember is that there are a lot of pretenders who are surrounded by people who may be authentic in certain ways. If that makes sense, right? Um, and what they'll do is they'll get a position. And them getting a position, they feel bigger than the actual program. So these people actually stop studying, they stop reading. They are not students in the natural sense. What I mean is they come up with excuses as to why they shouldn't read. Now, I think it was January. I think this happened on the 21st. I've been looking for this post for the longest. I'm gonna find it because I need her words on the screen. And I'm actually waiting for more people to to come in. So Mutt can get his bill going. But let me see if I can find this again. Give me one moment. Let's see. And again, we'll do more reading to explain all the extra shit that they may have missed. But to be Yamasi and you don't know anything about your tribe is very telling. All of the pretty dresses, that shit is cute and all, but you don't know shit about your tribal nation. You have people who are in pictures who are called Big Mama. You have people that are in pictures that are clan mothers that lack actual wisdom. So, what should happen to these women that don't know about the tribes um, that they are claiming, right? Now, for some reason, um, it won't pop up. They're not pulling up the comments. I'll go ahead and pull up the comments real quick. What I'll do is I'll just go screenshot it and post it. To make it a little simpler, being that the laptop like to play around. Let me see. Bear with me one moment. Then we'll get started once they let me upload or let me actually move properly. So let's see. Bear with me one moment. It's crazy when I'm actually calm. Things are moving a little slower. Um, but it's all good though, right? Um, Let me screenshot this comment here. Boom. Oh wow, Pa actually commented on on this post, so I'll actually go ahead and post all the screenshots and we can to rolling. After I'm done explaining this simple or rather simple conversation that I had with these people, um, what we will get into is the origin of the Yamasi and the origins of the Gullah Geechee people, and we're going to correct certain things that have been said about these people. I think we're here. We think everything uploaded. Let me go check. Hold on. I think everything just uploaded. Let me go check. Uh, Come on, laptop, stop being like that. All right, let me refresh the page, and then we should be good. Refresh the page. We should be good. All right, perfect. Let me share this. Let me share this. Give me 2 seconds. It's coming on the screen now. Everybody that just came in, or the two that just came in, thank you for joining. We're actually about to get started now. Let's see, Mutt, can you see the screen? Auntie, can y'all see the screen that's being shared?
No.
Let's see. So the screen isn't being shared, huh? Wait, let me add the control to the stage. See, got it. All right, let me try to add it to the stage. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I don't know. It's being dumb. It's not letting me add my controls to the stage right now. Um. All right, there go the controls. So hopefully this pop up. It looks like the screen froze. Uh, Crazy shit, right? I guess that's what we're gonna be going through today. Um, it's all good. But so from this post that the Yamasi was created or founded by the Tama in a specific group of Wale, one of their clan mothers responded, "You do realize that Tama tribe is a bunch of racists, and I would not be claiming anything Tama. Let's make it fucking clear. We never claimed anything Tama. What we mentioned was the fact that the Yamasi was created by a group of fleeing Tama and a group of Wale quote unquote refugees. Now I responded that you do if you claim Yama and Yamasi. Now the next thing that's important here is this picture here I do have on my page. We'll go over this right here. And I first want to go over this comment. Um this was a comment that was posted on the same post. It says, "I didn't have a question, only the visible reaction given. It was simply surprising to read that the Yamasi, a nation predating the 1700s, were a group that split off from the Wale and seemingly only became the Yamasi due to joining a confederacy. That is if I interpreted the post correctly. I'm going to explain to you what people fuck that. Let me do this now. Uh Let me see if I can do this. There we go. I'm going to explain to you what people are usually taught. And what they're usually taught is this. Most people that learn about the Yamasi Confederation are taught that the Confederation itself, um, let me line this up. They're taught that the Confederation is is an ancient nation. And by way of this nation, so many different groups came out of this nation. Um, I noticed I'm back a minute on my StreamYard. My StreamYard is a minute back. Am I glitching on here real quick? Let me ask y'all. Mutt, Reese, am I glitching it or anything?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, so I'm just a minute faster on here than I am StreamYard, which is kind of crazy. Um, but said that to say, people are taught that the Yamasi is the oldest nation, it's the mother nation. But they're taught this by people who were taught this by people who were learning by way of the Europeans. When the facts of the matter came out, it was already too late for these people to begin saying that their story that they had was actually incorrect. So they believed that the Yamasi was a nation that predates the 1700s, while in reality, their own cultural book reads something very telling. It says, the Latama Yamasi, while they considered only a group, not the entire nation, relocated to new missions in Spanish Florida. So this can be read two ways. This is why you have to watch who's speaking. One can say the Latama Yamasi, Wale, considered only a small group, not an entire nation. So they can say that the Wale were a part of that union, and or it could say that the Wale considered them to be a small group but not a nation. That was the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is the Wale never viewed the Yamasi or the Yama as a nation, but different groups of people who eventually came together for whatever purpose. Now, her being an elder mother, she should have known that. However, this is her origins. This is where she comes from. And this is what we will talk about. When you are raised within a lie, the things you tend to do tend to defend the lies. Now, I will say this. I won't call Lita Palmer a liar. I will not do that. But I definitely will say she was ignorant, right, to the facts of the matter. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to expose how our own ignorance can lead to other people feeling like they're bigger uh, than the actual bloodline. So let's get busy. Um, who's in here? Reese, you in the chat? You
Yep.
tapped, you tuned in? Have you ever seen this fella before?
I ain't never seen him.
This is Chief Norman L. Running Buck. Now, Chief Running Buck was supposed to have been the Okle-Bar-Que chief of Yamasi Seminoles. Now, what's important about this is they claim that they descend from a hereditary line of Seminole chiefs, which give them their bloodline and their claim. Now, when we read through people obituaries, what are some things that we usually find in obituaries? We find their parents and their siblings. Now, preceded in death means that these people had passed before him. His father name is Willie Mack Buford. His mother is Nancy Case Buford. His stepmother is Ruby Buford. He has three brothers, two sisters, one grandchild, and wife. His wife is Betty Little Dove Buford. The survivors, including wife Daphne White Fawn Buford and blood brother Joe Dan Osceola. This is where all this shit get interesting. Because if he is blood brothers with Joe Dan Osceola, if he is blood brothers with Joe Dan Osceola, shouldn't he be mentioned in Joe Dan Osceola's obituary? See, when you don't do the research on these people, it's easy to get caught in their lies. Some people just want to get along. Trust me, this is only the beginning. Now, when we do the actual research on these guys or on these people, um, we actually have to do the research. So we know that him and Joe Dan Osceola are not brothers at all. Number two, we find his father, Willie Mack Buford. So this what you're looking at on the screen is his father, Willie Mack. Now, if I can get to Willie Mack, we're going to actually be able to talk about what's what. So this is Running Buck's father that is on the screen. What Negroes want us to believe is that this man somehow was Yamasi or Okle-Bar-Que, but in reality, he was just a European, right? Now his father's name is Albert Buford. His mother is Martha Boiling Buford. Now, what we're looking at, right, is the fact that people are, or even Europeans, are claiming lands as their ancient lands that they have no attachment to in reality. Now, we know that the Okle-Bar-Que, they operated in what is known as Myron County, right? Or Orange Springs, Florida. But there's someone very beautiful that actually descends from these people, and he's me. So while you have people saying that Running Buck was a Seminole chief from Myron County, Florida, in reality, he was not. His people were not from Myron County, Florida. They were from Tennessee. Now, this is one of my grandmothers. She was born in Carolina. She actually made it to what eventually became known as Myron County, Florida, which is White Springs, or excuse me, Orange Springs, Florida. But in this land is the same land that one of her grandsons owned 500 acres. With him owning these 500 acres, he was eventually murdered, and this land was given away and eventually became Ross Allen's Seminole Institute. And another part of that land eventually became um, the Okle-Bar-Que Band of Seminole Reservation, right? So their reservation eventually was their status, right, was made a nonprofit, and in them creating a nonprofit, what was done is they basically made a replica village and used that replica village to generate funds for their said nation. Now, Running Buck was a firefighter. This is what a lot of people have to understand. He was a firefighter. So with him being a firefighter, there are some people that he picked up who eventually carried this mission. Now I want to show you all his grandfather, which name is William Cox. This is who's supposed to be his grandfather. But if you actually search this picture or do a reverse image search, let's see. Even if we save image as right there, and we can just go to Google real quick. Let me see. We can go to Google real quick. Let's see. And we can search this image real quick. Upload file. And what will be noticed is um let me see if I can reshare this. Something happened. Hold on. What you all will see is this guy is in no relation to um Running Buck, right? So while this man is here as William Benjamin Cox in the Okle-Bar-Que Chief's genealogy, in reality, that is not his people, right? Number two, let me see. Number two, where are we at? Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me, computer. Where are we? Stop playing. This is his wife's lineage. None of these people are fucking indigenous Americans. neither their matriarchal line or their patrilineal line, or matrilineal line and patrilineal line, excuse me. So the whole bloodline that is being used by the Okle-Bar-Que Seminoles is actually fraudulent. These are their grandparents, right? These are their grandparents. So when we look at a Walter Cox and somebody say, well, he was born in Georgia, what one must remember is he also has parents, and one who's technically being lied about, right? Now, the next thing that we're going to go on to, now that their bloodline, all of that is solidified and stamped, like we know that shit is bullshit. Here is one of my grandmothers, Martha Wilson. Martha Wilson was born in South Carolina. She actually ended up moving to Orange Springs, Florida, um, around that time, right? Now, Martha, for some reason, if you study her life story, she was actually labeled, her racial classification, and as early as we can find, um, is actually um, mulatto, and this is her in Florida. She was actually in Florida when this was taken, and many may ask why. The reason why is because if you were not on the res, it was illegal to be an Indian. So she wouldn't have been considered mulatto. I mean, excuse me, Indian. She would have been considered mulatto. Now, this is her son, Cuffy Wilson. They will tell you that, excuse me, this is her husband, Cuffy Wilson. Now, or Kufi properly. This is for the niggas that say, I don't have any ancestors that came across a whoop de whoop. Kufi had both parents who were actually brought over here during that time. And he actually fought in many wars. Um, and he just happened uh, to have a woman that was much younger, right? Now, with Kufi, when we deal with his mother, Martha, what questions we have, which we have the answer to, but we still have inquiries, right? When I deal, I like to ask questions. She was 24 in 1870. She was born in South Carolina. What knowledge did she have to bring her specifically from South Carolina to Marion County, Florida? And remember, noted she was mulatto. So we know that again, the bloodline that Chief Running Buck, or that the Running Buck, the Buford family is claiming, is fraudulent. But what goes unnoticed is the fact that there are people who actually descend from these particular places. Now, one thing that I noted before, a lot of people try to shy away from, is that when you know their law, you have a better chance at getting around certain things. Now, what better way of actually knowing their law um, outside of having one of your own, right? Whether it's a child or a cousin or anything like that, um, that knows it themselves. So we're going to watch this pull up. And I've been said this. People thought this shit was a game. I don't know why it's taking so long for it to pull up on the screen. It's on the laptop. Uh, Maybe I have to shut it down. And there we go. It's coming up so slow, right? They're wasting my time. So when you deal with the Buford family, Running Buck wasn't a dumb man. when he came to when he was born in Florida, his son became a lawyer, and this is how they were able to get the Okle-Bar band of Yamasee Seminoles stamped in Wisconsin, bring it to Florida, and then operate as a 501c3 or a nonprofit organization. So when certain people went through certain problems and he was able to free their clan mothers, what happened in reality is he has a son that knows the law, but not just tribal law, their law. So they lied about their bloodline. They then set up a fictitious entity in order to attempt to operate as a tribal nation. With them doing this, what eventually happened is let me find this. What eventually happened is things get a little spooky, right? They get a little freaky. And here is some freaky things, or some of the freaky things that was going on this reservation at the time. So we're talking about two generations of men here that descend from the same line, which is my father and son. Now we speak on father and son. One thing that we can't forget to mention is that third generation or that grandson. So we have a father who lied on his father about his lineage. Then we have a boy who continued the lie that his father uh, perpetuated or pushed on the people, only to have his son molest and rape little girls on their plantation. So what we're dealing with are groups of Europeans or family of Europeans that has completely lied about their lineage, became friends with darker skinned indigenous people, and used them to piggyback off of their handful of knowledge or the little bit of knowledge that they had. Now I know people are in shock because I don't even have one comment on my video. So I know who's watching this video. I know who's watching this video. I don't even have one comment. Nobody can deny any of these facts. So the land that Running Buck was claiming was his ancient land that actually belonged to who? It's very interesting, right? Now, the laptop is freezing. The second thing that we're going to go over tonight, and here is the actual build. We're going to do a build on the origins of the Gullah Geechee and the origins of the Yamasee as a confederation, right? Um, Mutt, go ahead and free yourself. I know you got certain things that you want to go over, certain things you want to cover. The floor is actually yours if you are ready. If not, I'll continue with some other readings. But if you're ready, go ahead, cuz.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. And what I did notice is that you revealed something that a lot of people may have missed, um, or may have never seen before, and that was when you showed Cuffy. You showed on the census record African descent. I don't know if a lot of people noticed that, but if you can go back to that and go back to that census record and where it said uh his race and it said African, that's the first time I've seen that, and it's probably the first time many of other people seen that. But I wanted to reference that because that's the first time you actually will see the admixture on paper or by a source of Gullah Geechee admixture. So
Chintamo Alito Miku Chi. What's going on? Talk to me, cuz.
while viewing that document and notice that that was in the 17th century. Uh, According to most sources, the Gullah arrived in uh, Low Country, South Carolina, in the 17th century, which will make that around the late 1700s, early 1800s. If you look at a map of their territories, you will, and then look at a map of Wale's territories, you will see that they are very similar. They're actually the same. Okay. So I think Lip got got the link already up. I got a couple of PDFs that I wanted to go over from the Department of Interior.
This is the .gov, or is
Uh
this the one dealing with the
yes,
national park?
this is the .gov.
.gov. Give me one
It
second. I'm
is
trying
still
to
it
pull it
is the
up.
document it's two different documents dealing with the national parks.
Okay.
But the one that I sent you, and then I got the other one.
Okay, so I'm trying to pull up
The Irene site.
with the women that I have in the book.
Yes.
Okay, I'll pull that up. I'll pull that up. I'll definitely pull that up. So, um, the laptop moving a little slow is probably because I started dogging that shit out on the running book, dude. Um, but they'll be all right. A lot of people thought I felt some type of way about dude because he Caucasian, but those niggas don't understand this shit actually deal with my bloodline. So while you have people being considered chiefs and leaders of nations, we actually know who they are. So fuck what you tell us or what you think or how you feel about these people. We know who the fuck they are. So go play that game somewhere else. I'm
Right.
dressed in all red for a reason. Those names aren't red for a reason. I'm not here to fucking play no games with you all tonight. We're not here to play any games with you tonight. So let me go pull up this link. Give me one second. Let me pull up this link. Here we go. Here we go. So now this link in particular is going to deal with the Yamasi woman who's the elder, right? I remember she made the claim when she said that she wouldn't claim anything to do with the Tama if she were me. I told her that the fact that she's Yamasi, she's already claiming shit to do with the Tama. So, Munt, here you go up here. You can start here if you wish.
Go
At the
down just a tad.
Irene.
Go down
Oh,
just a
go
tad bit
down.
more. It's the next
Okay.
paragraph.
Okay. So, the first recorded.
Yeah. Okay. So the first y'all see on that second paragraph, I'm a skip out of after the first sentence. I'm gonna skip down a little bit where I got a highlighted point where it says sometime in the late 1600s is where I got that highlighted. But the first recorded European contact in the Savannah area in the summer of 1526 AD, when settlers under Lucas Vasquez de Leon briefly established a colony along uh Walladape. the Okle-Bar-B-Que River, believed to be the present day Savannah River. Okay, so sometime in the late, oh, I'm sorry, hold on. Let me just backtrack a little bit to the Irene site. We're dealing with the Irene site mound complex along the Savannah River in Georgia. They dated to be around the time of 1200 AD. I digress. I would think it's a little bit older, but sometime in the late 1600s, a portion of the Casabo joined the emerging Creek Confederacy. Alion's name for the river also may refer to Wale residents of that area. By 1700, many of the Wale 1700, many of the that's in the 16th century. Many of the Wale had relocated south to Florida. However, some of the remaining Wale population joined with the Tama to form the Yamasee tribe. Other Wale fled into inland to settle with the emergent Lower Creek towns on the Ocmulgee and Chattahoochee rivers. Okay, now that's
Mm-mm.
dealing with one site, right? We contest that the Wale had many different mound sites. Actually, it is written on one source that in the first sentence it says the Wale are a mound building people, which would mean that they have been here since before those who conquered the mounds claimed those mounds. That would be a factual point, and it was proven in that previous article from the Department of Interior. Okay, I also have here from the Department of Interior at a different mound site. This would be the Lewis Mound site. I don't. Let me go back and see exactly if you can. Mike can pull that one too.
Mm-mm.
If not, I could just read it from.
I want to piggyback on something you said real quick. Let me share this. Let's just rebuild, cuz. So you talking about the Wale and the Tama coming together to become known as the Yamasi, but a Yamasi elder woman doesn't know shit about this. So on this screen, this is a national register paper. It says shortly after settling at Charlestown, the English sent Henry Woodward up the Savannah River to treat with the Westo. Woodward was able to negotiate a peaceful alliance with the Westo, and for the next several years, they were close allies of the English, who supplied them with guns and ammunition. These weapons were used to attack and intimidate the Westo's less well-armed neighbors. By 1675, the Westo had already begun driving the Tama from the interior Georgia. Listen, Spanish accounts indicate that by that year, there were already a great number of recently arrived Tama living amongst the missions of both Wale and Appalachia in western Florida. Between Wale missions and St. Augustine, many of these Tama refugees on the coastal islands located between the Wale missions and St. Augustine. In both Wale and Appalachia, these Tama refugees were referred to as Yamasis. So you're claiming that, well, I won't claim anything to do with Tama, not knowing the Tama is the birth to the Yama. They're literally the same word. But imagine a woman being a part of a tribe for a decade and not even knowing that these two words are the exact same. Go ahead, cuz, talk to me.
Oh, no doubt. Okay, so let me see if you can pull this document on .gov. It's actually the second one. If you
Did you
go,
send it to me?
uh,
If you could text it to me, I'll pull it up. Um, if you can text it to me, I'll pull it up. Again, let me give a shout out to Six Fingers. That's one of the people that I actually vibe with. That's one of the people that I've been looking at and studying. I would say under for a while. Um, if I need any correction or I need to make sure my work is whole, this is someone that I actually go to. This is not a game, right? This is not a game. So Mutt, you good? You found what you needed?
Hold on, I'm trying to find a link to shoot it to you real quick.
Okay.
Uh,
Let me see if I could find this build. And this is what I mentioned earlier. When people study this, people rarely study this for real, right? And when they do, what they usually look for is names. They look for the name Yamasi. They look for the name Wale, as opposed to simply reading what was going on.
that's
Now,
not it
this
though, but
is
that's the picture. That's the maps.
you sent me the maps.
Yeah, I just resent you the maps too, because I was gonna use it.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, let me see. It's sent as a PDF. Um, Let me
Yeah,
try
that's
to
the
upload this.
direct link to the North Carolina site.
Okay, perfect.
Dang, where
Perfect,
is that?
perfect, perfect. So while I am on here, I want to read this real quick. And again, a lot of that the Wale and the Yamasi were the same. And I'll say this on record. The Yamasi Seminole chief, properly the Yamasi Muskogee Seminole,
And then and that is the second. It's the uh second link, the second PDF. Yeah, right before the Swanson. All right, I'm gonna just read this real quick because I think he probably pulling that up. I sent it to him on his phone. But here I'm reading about the Fort Stewart mound site, which was called the Lewis Mounds, and they predate the Lewis Mounds to be uh, uh 50 years older than the Irene Mound site. And it says here initial research suggests that at the time of European contact, the Wale occupied an area in the close vicinity of what is now Fort Stewart. Wale material culture is thought to be a direct development from the pre-contact late Mississippian Irene phase that came in 1325
check
AD.
anybody.
Let's see. During the late 16th and 17th centuries, the Wale were moved to Spanish missions in Florida and southern Georgia. If you go look up those maps of the Wale's territory in Florida, southern Georgia, South Carolina along the Savannah, and North Carolina along the Holigheechee, those maps will line up directly with the Gullah Geechee's maps. throughout the
And right. I'm back. I'm here. I'm listening. We tapped in.
okay, then it says okay, during the late 16th and 17th centuries, the Wale were moved to Spanish missions in Florida and southern Georgia, where they merged with the Yamasee. On the previous article, it says that that's actually an updated article from this one on the one that we just went over, and it said that they merged with the Tom. They came together with the Tama to create the Yamasee Confederacy. Throughout the late 17th and early 18th centuries, the Yamasee moved back and forth between the English, in South Carolina, and the Spanish in St. Augustine, Florida. Throughout the area that is now called Fort Stewart, they were able to find and give back to the Geechee, not the Yamasee. They gave these remains back to the Geechee, and the
Mm,
Geechee, Gullah Geechee, reburied the remains. So if they're giving back remains from a site that predates Irene, Fort Stewart, or the Lewis Mounds, and they gave those remains back to the Gullah Geechee, not the Yamasee tribe of Seminoles, not the Muskogee here in Oklahoma, not the Cherokee, but they gave them back to the Gullah Geechee. What would that tell you? That
mm,
the
mm,
Gullah Geechee and the
mm,
Wale
mm, mm.
are direct descendants of each other.
Right,
That's
right.
my case.
Now there is something beautiful. There is something beautiful that I'm gonna show. Um, this is the book. Auntie's still on here. I don't know if Auntie's still on here or not. Um, but she
Yeah,
said
I'm
that she
here.
said, okay, perfect. Auntie, this is the book that you told people to read. You say, well, they would have known had they read their own book, right? Or a book that they supposed to had promoted. Now, one thing that goes overlooked on this particular on this book is that there's something very telling here. There's something very telling on this book. Um, it's not gonna pull up the full what's the name, but what I want to say is
I got a dagger, bro.
go ahead, cause I'm trying to save mine, but go ahead, cause I can read shit all day. I can hop back
Says
and
the
forth and
Yamasee
read all
Semin.
day.
It says the Yamasee War of 1715 resulted in fragmentations of the Yamasee, with some members joining the Creek, while others fled to
Right.
Florida or were shipped as slaves to Mexico and Cuba. The
Mm-hmm.
Seminoles are believed to be descendants of the Upper and Lower Creek, who migrated to Florida in the 1700s to
Uh-huh.
escape European domination. Research indicates that Wale Yamasee political slash it says Wale slash Yamasee political and cultural identity has been absorbed by the Creeks and Seminoles and has not been maintained as distinct into contemporary times.
Right.
Meaning that what the people are not extinct, they got mutilated.
Hey, I want to ask one question because I remember I read something before that said that the very first group of Seminoles, it said that they came out of Georgia and went into Florida, and then that's when all the other Seminoles came. Is that what that's like referring to?
No.
The first people that were called Seminoles in the America were the Wale, yo, boy.
That's what I was thinking.
That
That's what they was talking about.
I'm knowing where you going. You feel me? You on P. That's what it was. But when you think about it, this is somebody Spanish who's speaking. So if this word is being used by the English 300 years later in reference to multiple groups of people, then anybody can be a fucking Seminole. You get what I'm saying?
It's a catch-all.
It's like Yamasi. It's a catch-all term. So saying the Yamasi tribe of Seminoles is crazy as fuck when the Yamasi admit Wale ain't even view them that way. But why didn't Wale view the Yamasi as one tribe? Because what the Yamasi of today don't understand is that the Yamasi is an idea, it's a conglomeration of multiple tribal groups. So when someone hears the word Yamasi, the first thing they think is this has to deal with me. When in reality, there are over 50 groups that became known as Yamasi. But we also must take into account what? What must we take into account? Those who were called Yamasi but were not that at all. So while a Negro will tell you you're Yamasi because there is a chief that says he's Cherokee and Yamasi. Well, nigga, show us the document where he say that so we can decipher it. Then you find out the word that he used was Chiluqui. And Chiluqui were the Wale that stayed on Saint Helena. Right?
Facts.
Correct
Facts.
me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
So when a nigga that come into the land is telling you that he originate from the land, but you don't really know the story, you are starting to feel like this nigga is the original. Whole time, a nigga come from Mexico. Think about it. I'll make it simple for you. I'm gonna give you all the answers. When you see the town Ichisi in the 1500s, you must realize this is the Ochesi in the 1600s. But the Hichiti of the 1700s. Listen, all of these people descend from the Ishate, Achate, Atigata, Tikasa, Ejiti. All of these are the same people. But a nigga think I'm tripping until they read their own cultural book. So while you're claiming to be Wale, your story tells us that you are originally Isa. But you're claiming that Potocaligo is your ancient land. But it can't be your ancient land when you say that your people brought corn to North America. Obviously, the Wale didn't have corn until the Mississippian era. So when we read books like The Struggle for the Georgia Coast, I don't know what I have on the screen. Who is this? That's John Worth, if I'm not mistaken. And the history of the Creek Indians and their neighbors, a volume which still dominate the field. All right. It says the author asserted that the Yamasi must have been an indigenous tribe originally connected to the coastal Wale, but were somehow obscured until late in the historical record. It has been thought by investigators that the people of Wale and the Yamasi were identical, but facts contained in the Spanish archives show that this is incorrect. They make it plain that the Yamasi were an independent tribe from early times belonging to, as Barcia states, to the province of Wale, or perhaps rather its outskirts, but not originally a dominant tribe in the province. So, as we've explained ourselves, the Yamasi were multiple groups of people that eventually migrated into the lands of the people that were known to the Spanish as Wale. But when this happened, again, another thing that we explain all the time, what happened was, and you can read this in the struggle for the Georgia coast. Let me pull this up real quick. Let me pull this up real quick. But what you will notice is in the struggle for the Georgia coast, the Wale were eventually attacked not only by the Chilukwi, or who eventually were known as the Cherokee, but they were also attacked by Creeks. They were attacked by the Yuchi. They were attacked by the Westo. And all of this actually happened at the same time. So we're dealing with a nigga, right, who's surrounded by crackers who believe that they know. But these crackers don't even realize they don't know shit about their own tribal story. While you sit at home looking for a way to educate your family, while you sit at home and tell your family, fuck the pretty dresses, I just need you to learn some shit. It's a bitch out here with a pretty dress that don't know shit about her tribe. Motherfucker tell you how Indian they are, how indigenous they are by any English word. Motherfucker will tell you how Yama they are without knowing shit about their tribe. Now we talk about the force composed of Westo Creeks and Cherokees that attacked the Wale missions. We've done this before. But what it reads is that they said that the situation did not remain static for long, however. Neither the Wale nor the Tama, now called Yamasi, were satisfied with Spanish treatment. So obviously, they did what? They ran away from the Spanish and went to Florida. Now, with them going to Florida, this is how you get the book that was written, The Yamasi Indians from Florida to South Carolina, which should explain something in very great detail. When those groups of people who were originally Yamasi had eventually fled to Florida, they came amongst the people who were already established, and these were the Christian Wale. They fled from being around the Christian Wale and went and sought help by way of the English. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this real quick. How do I spell his name? Let's see. Let me hope this right. Perfect. Here we go. So this is an interview that had taken place. And what happened is one of the caciques or cacicas one of the female rulers explained that her brother had left Florida and went back to his ancestral land with some new people that was known as the Yamasi. It says the primary informant. Let me switch this over. The primary informant was a Christian Indian named Daikon, who was said to have been a native of Saint Helena and who spoke the language of Wale. He indicated that early in February 1672, he and four companions had gone to Charlestown, where they saw several ships carrying new settlers and about 30 houses and limited fortifications. Both on the way to Charlestown and on his return voyage to St. Helena, Daikon indicated that he had spoke to the Cacica of Ospo. Indeed, her brother accompanied the group to the English settlement, who had provided intelligence regarding the English to the Spaniards in 1671. The Cacica did not wish to go to St. Augustine again, since the other time she had arrived down to Santa Catalina to see the Spaniards, they had sent her to St. Augustine, so she didn't wish to go. Now, long story short, this is another thing that we have been explaining for a while. There was a separation between or within the Wale, or what was known as the Appalachian Union, between the traditional Indians and the Christian Indians. And what happened was many of the traditional Indians, right, and we're using this for the conversation. They began to enslave the darker Indians and those who were actually Christian. See, a lot of people think Christianity saved their ancestors while being on the plantation. But Mutt, correct me if I'm wrong, it was the Christians being put on the boat first.
Yeah, Christians had to get put on the boat first because the Spanish had Catholicism.
Facts, they were Catholic. So in the 1500s, you already have shit going down because people were um putting foot to ass, right? So what is not usually talked about, let me see if I can find this. What is not usually talked about is the fact that the Wale and the Spanish were actually at war for almost 100 years before the Yamasi popped up on the coast. But it wasn't just any Yamasi, excuse me, any Wale. It was the traditional Wale that was fighting this fight. The Yamasi people, they ushered in the Mississippian era. That they did do. After a certain point, they did bring maize, which assisted the people in a way, but it eventually harmed the Wale, right? This is a book that I would suggest a lot of people grab. Hold on. Mutt, was you screen sharing, cuz?
No, why you say that?
Okay. Okay. I
Oh, that's
added
my.
your other screen just in case you
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Just in
Yeah,
case
just
I
in
needed the
case you.
screen share.
Right, right, right. I definitely did that. Let me screen share this real quick. This and this is interesting, right? We're gonna talk about the facts of the matter. Um, when we talk about the Wale uprising, um, we have to talk about what was what. And let me see if I can find this. All right, perfect. So it said this is one of the letters in the text. This is on St. Francis Day. This is ass kicking day. So it says, as he stood in front of the house which he overlooked the Pataruba River. Now these are supposed to be Temuco speakers. The friar counted 11 war canoes filled with armed Indians from the land of Iba'a, which the Spanish called Wale. This is 1597. In the 1500s, we were already going at the Spanish for the same reasons the Yamasi claimed to have been going at them almost 200 years later. What has been admitted by some Yamasi elders is that it wasn't the Ichisi, the Okate, or the Okonde, the original Yamasi groups, or the people that became Yamasi, right? They weren't the fighters. They were not the fighters. The fighters were the Wale. Because anybody correct me if I'm wrong, did the Wale not defeat the Westo and the Europeans without firearms? So you have a people that had no firearms, but still defended themselves to the best of their abilities and actually came out victorious. So of course the Yamasi would migrate into the land of the people who were actually the victors in war against European powers multiple times. Mutt, did you find you found what you need?
I'm pulling up what you got. I'm
Georgia
download.
Coast.
Oh no, I thought you was reading from Indians of the Southeast United States.
Actually, I was on this what I just showed. So I see that didn't show. Give me one moment. Let me go back to that, and then I got a lot of screens open right now. Hold on. Hold on. Now this book here, bro, like I say, this book, the Yamasi Indians, Florida to South Carolina. This is a book that is very interesting, and I would ask many people to go grab it. There are about 10 to 12 different authors who have essays in this book that make up this book. Um, and being that there are people who don't have their things in order, but they look like they're in order in this book, um, I again will advise you all to please go grab this text. You may can even find it on Amazon, right? You can even find it in Prime. But on page 2, it reads that it's talking about the Yamasi Confederation. It says their confederation at Port Royal was impressive, incorporating over 1,000 Yamasi and Wale who come from the Savannah River, Wale Makoma, Apalachicola, and Apalachi. Any one of us who are Wale understand that at least 3 of those words that were used are the same word. But Europeans had an issue. They didn't understand the language, so they tended to break us up. Now, going through this book, we'll continue to read other little things. This book tells you who became known as Yamasi, when they became known as Yamasi, but it specifically separates the Yamasi and Wale in the original sense. Basically, letting you know these are not the the same people as was taught. One has to be completely honest with themselves. And if your chief or leader is willing to lie to you about who they are genetically, what else are they lying about? Now, oftentimes, the Talawale or Talawalewi are often pushed off as being Yuchi. This word Hogolugi is the word Ogichi that you'll see, right? Or sometimes you have the Teligui, which some people call the Allegheny, right? But these also are the same people. Now, a problem, excuse me, it depends on how you spell it. Sometimes shit can you right. So the problem that many people have is that they don't understand that some things are much older than they claim them to be. Because one will say, well, Topper site is over 50,000 years old, and that's our site. While in the same breath explaining to you that they left Africa about 20,000 years ago. Let me share this. If you have the enrollment packet, you actually can find this on your enrollment packet. I don't make this shit up. So why do the Yamasi people look like the African Americans of today? Because we Yamasi are descendants of those who came from the continent of Africa over 20,000 years ago. Our skin has always been dark, which is how many of the Yamasi was able to be put into slavery. So when you hear Eagle Joe speak, right? Eagle Joe says, since the beginning of time, we've always, excuse me, God gives us who we are. And that's been since the beginning of time. We've always had family, Indian family in Georgia. That's just the way it is. Now, someone that tells you that they fucking come from Mexico will then start claiming things in Georgia that don't necessarily belong to them. This is why, as I say, Ancestry.com is very important. Watch this. Let me show you. So remember I showed you all when dealing with running buck that I have a grandmother that was born or that eventually made it to um she eventually made it to uh Ocala, right? She made it to White Springs, Orange Springs, Florida. There is something else I want to show. And the reason I have to show this is because, again, people claim things not understanding that there are other people who are actually attached to these fucking bloodlines. Let's see if we can find this. Now, um, when we put all of this into perspective, from the running buck thing about him lying about his ancestry to finding out his grandchild was a cold-hearted fucking child predator, knowing that people allowed that to happen, they knew what was going on until their own children were actually involved. Before you attempt to enroll in these tribes, you have to know who you're dealing with. My big mama's on the phone. My auntie, my mother, my clan mother is on the phone. She will tell you no different than I will tell you about our clan or our family spirit or lineage. Auntie, are you still tapped in? Let me see if she's still tapped in.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but our family clan is Big Cat family, correct? Or
Mm-hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, you correct me.
Correct. You're right.
What is the possibility that my mother would be Toad clan and I would be Panther clan? How does that work? My birth mother called me today to ask me this question. She said, "Lip," she said, "we know he a Toad. And how did he become a Panther?" One would have had to have been adopted, correct? Reese, you listening in?
Yep.
You know a little bit about the clan system. You're a great student. This is how I know you're going to be a wonderful teacher. If you and your mama got different clans in the matrilineal system, you know we gonna look at that weird, right?
Yep.
So if a big chief tell you, if you get adopted, Reese, you don't have the same power as someone who's a blood member. How can the person telling you that be adopted but have the biggest seat? How would you look at him?
Look at him like an outsider. It's like
Like,
that's. I'm
bro,
gonna
you
look
a
at him
fucking
like
outsider. What do you mean?
I'm gonna look at him like as my mama adopting somebody and treating him better than they treat me.
Thank you, bro. You just a nigga who getting treated better than the actual blood members. But nobody's sitting back asking these questions. How does the big chief have a different clan than his mother while being raised amongst his mother's family? Why does the big chief claim another man as his biological father while being named after another man? What happened? Why is his biological father and his mother's grandfather related by clan? How does that fucking work? See where I'm going with this shit? There is so much to be unpacked about what's really going on, but people don't give a fuck. What they care about is being like the lady leader. They care about being cute. You want to look good in a fucking traditional dress, but you don't know shit about your tribal name. Imagine a woman, a person, coming on your post, attempting to correct you about tribal information, being 100% wrong, and then calling around the globe to try to recruit people to argue with you. This is the status of an elder today? I would think not. I would just think that this is an old motherfucker. That's just me. You'll never catch my mothers on the internet trolling someone or even finding the time to correct anyone on the internet. That's not what they do. That's not what they do. Excuse me, pardon me. But when someone doesn't know, the first thing they're going to do is attempt to attack. But I showed you the bloodline of the people that she followed, that she come from. So, so she's used to lying. She's used to making some shit up. She comes from a bloodline where they say lying about who you are related to is okay when you are a European. I've showed you all this bloodline, even his wife's bloodline. They are not Yamasi at all. But you'll have people that are Yamasi that claim them to be Yamasi, knowing the facts of the matter. What should we do with them? If you know the facts, what should we do with you? If you'll sit back and you allow someone to lie and you know better, you're no better than them. You're just like them. You'll sit back and watch someone do evil and say nothing. Afraid of being alone. You would rather be with the crowd than be right and stand on your own. I don't need you around me. We're going to stand on the facts or we're going to stand on nothing at all. Because if you're not for what's real, then you're completely for what's fake. My mother's sister is on the phone. She told you that I have the same clan as her. How does the big chief have a different clan than his own mother? What happened? And if he has a different clan than his own mother, this means that his clan mothers are technically his father's mothers, which means they should be on top of all of the things that's going on now, but they are not. But nobody want to talk about this. Peace, Unc. What's going on? Thank you for all the love that you giving me, all the support, and those bullets that you gave me to load up that thing. Those are exactly what was put in the book that a lot of people wanted to deny. Unc right here, Uncle Anthony, if you open my Green Fire book, he's actually mentioned in the beginning because he's one of the people that told me last year. This is just last year. He said, nephew, I'm going to send you something. And what I send you, I need you to study because one day you're going to need these bullets in your, he said, in your gun. So load your chamber. That was simple. The man gave it to me raw, gave me everything I need. I studied it, got it down pat, and actually started to view what was going on and what was what. A real elder, someone that sees the youth and says, you know what? He needs my assistance, not my help. He just needs my assistance. And he gonna be greater than what he is today just by me reaching my hand out to help him. That's a real elder. But an elder that's gonna elder or someone who's an eldership that you consider an eldership that's gonna give you half-ass information. Someone that you consider your elder that's gonna play both sides. Someone that you consider your elder that'll send your stupid ass into a war that they started is a stupid ass elder, and you better start using discernment while you hang around these old ass people. Old people are the ones that send the youth into wars that they themselves wouldn't fight. They ass not even in the shape to fight it. So these are things that I need you all to actually think about. Think about the origins of these tribal people that you even claiming to be yours. There are people that are Yamasi that don't know they migrated from Mexico thousands of years ago and brought maize with them. They don't know that. They so caught up in 1715, not knowing they were the reason that the war in 1715 even fucking started. Uncle Ant, if you in the chat, tell me I'm wrong. The reason the war started is because the Yamasi were enslaving their own people originally. And then niggas got mad because they was getting treated bad. They were getting undercut for enslaving niggas and then got mad at the white man and tried to fall off on the white man. Bro, you already put thousands of niggas on the boat. Questions. Any questions? Reese, you got any questions? Anybody in the chat got any questions? Auntie, would you like the floor? Do you have anything to speak on? Let me see. Hold up.
No,
Damn.
not really. Not really. Just self-explanatory. You know, you and Mark did a good job. I like the work that y'all putting in because this conversation needed to be had.
It needed to be had and put to rest.
And put to rest, right? Because
Now that we can free Bill, Reese, you can open your mic, cause um, now that we can free Bill, it doesn't matter if you see a bitch in the newspaper, if you see a motherfucker in the news, a lie is a lie. Now, when somebody got the spotlight and everything they do is based off a lie, how is that gonna make all the other niggas look?
Niggas look like we lying too.
Reese,
You hear me?
yeah, I heard you say you and your mother sit at the tribal council with y'all family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't y'all have the same clan?
Yeah,
So can
he's
you
my mother.
imagine being at the tribal council and your mother is sitting in Toad and you're sitting in Panther? Like, bro, what?
It's basically like saying they ain't my mama.
My students will whoop y'all ass. This is what I keep telling you. Reese will run circles around the majority of the people over there for the simple fact he's going to ask every question that they're afraid to ask. He's done it already. Because if he don't know, he's going to inquire. You see what I'm saying, bro? If he doesn't know, he's going to question. The root of question and inquire are a quest. He's going on a journey, bro. He's learning some shit. He doesn't know. If he doesn't know, he's going to ask a question. Peace, Shayla. If you want the link, you can tap in too. I'll shoot you the link. But if he doesn't know, he's going to ask a question.
Like one thing that
They
made me
are,
know that some of them was
And the
bullshit is like when
medicine
I
man
asked
gonna
them
have the
questions and they
answer.
get mad at it.
pardon me, Reese, go ahead. Say what you said there, cuz I got you. Go ahead, Reese.
I said the reason that made me know that some of them was bullshit is like when I would ask them a certain question, they'd get mad at that question and get mad at me for asking that question.
Mm-hmm.
How do a nigga get
Yes,
mad at
they
you for
do.
not knowing? Bro, you don't know.
You got a medicine man for a reason. You don't use it.
Thank you. They have a medicine man that they don't use. Somebody that I call and be like, hey, look, I put this together. What you think about this? Is this right and exact? Or is it belief? Oh, that's right and exact, nephew. Not, hey, can you teach me this? That's not what happened. How you doing today, How you feel? How's your fucking health? How you doing? How your mind doing? Good, nephew. Hey, I need your assistance on this. They won't even do that with their own medicine men, and we do it at least 3 times a week. Even if we have the answer, we check in just to make sure the old man good. Because bro is sincere in his work. But can you imagine being honest in your work and the only time people contact you is when they need you to argue with somebody? I'll be a pissed off elder too. Peace on me. How you doing tonight? All the beautiful sisters in the room, all the beautiful cousins in the room, I need y'all to hear me and listen to me closely. If a man can't commit himself to a woman, what the fuck make you think he could commit himself to a nation? If a man cannot commit himself to one woman, even if he said, well, I got multiple wives. If he can't commit himself to his situation, what the fuck make you think he could commit himself to a nation? Imagine trying to be a second wife to a nigga who's trying to convince you he doesn't believe in marriage. Imagine enrolling somewhere and they're not honest enough to tell you we got this land on the tax lien. Imagine enrolling somewhere and you say, well, I'm not alone. It's me, my mother, and my cousins, and all of this. How will we operate as a clan within your system? And they say, oh, no, we not adding any clans. You got to get adopted because all the clans are extinct. How the fuck are the clans extinct, but the bloodlines are still alive, is what you teach it. Think about this. See, Reese, you have a form of intelligence that a lot of people don't have. Are you listening?
Yep.
Remember that list that I gave in the blue fire of the so-called extinct clans?
Yeah.
What you asked me? Hey bro, how they extinct if the people just disenfranchised? And you asked the question similar to that. And in my head, I say, bro, this nigga got it, bro. How can anybody say the clans are extinct while preaching that the bloodlines are still alive?
Because them clans don't exist, and I mean your tribe don't exist.
Dagger. My students will run circles around you niggas. These are master student teachers. Eventually, Reese gonna be
I
leading
I know
class.
I know Real Toad Clan
Come
lineage.
on, bro. Come on, bro. You know real Toad Clan. But a nigga is claiming Panther Clan, and his mother is Toad Clan, and his daddy is Panther Clan, but his daddy's mama is Bird Clan. Somebody's lying. somebody is lying. See, hmm, how can I put this? Hmm. So there's going to be a lot of backtracking going on, um, because people put out a lot of information that was fugazi. So as members, they have to go back and they have to think like, wow, I was wrong. But even as adults, Rahubat, greetings.
But
Even as adults, there are people who are afraid to admit to either being wrong, being off, or even being miseducated. There's a brother, I know he's gonna watch this video, and I want to give him much love for the simple fact that he say, bro, you know, all these years when you posted about the Yamasi, I thought you were trolling. Mutt, you are my witness. Bro say he thought I was trolling all these years because what he was taught is that the Yamasi were the mother tribe, and all and that the Wale and all of these people could. This is what he was taught. He said, bro, I went and researched everything or the majority of the things that I could that you said. And you were right. He said, but I really thought you were trolling. So there are many people on the internet that may see my post and be like, oh, he's just posting just to say that. He don't mean that. I really mean that shit. If it's on my Yee Iba'a page, I mean that shit. Go ahead, cuz, pardon me.
I was gonna say one thing I know that ain't been used from Baba is don't believe me. Look it up. We do that over
Facts.
here.
Facts. Facts.
Re-
And the,
Re-
now go ahead, cousin.
I'm about saying Reese is proof of that. Shayla proof of that. Only proof of that.
Yeah, 'cause
Facts.
I was seeing a lot of people posting that shit about the Yamasi being the mother tribe. But even when I first heard it, I was like, some of that they don't add up to what some of these other tribes has been saying. Yeah, how they the mother tribe and it was tribes already here before them.
Thank you. So now, when you have an elder in the nation that says, I remember it was 2013, and when we were being taught, it was taught to us that the Yamasi brought corn to North America. Reese, studying your ancestors that originate in North America, you understand what? That corn is not a crop that originates in North America. So obviously, that had to have been a crop that was brought into the land from someone outside of the land. But a nigga will fix his mouth to tell you that he's indigenous to the place or that place that they're living at is their ancient land. It's a bold-faced fucking lie. It's the same reason when we started to expose that the Muskogee were invaders to the southeast, the name of the nation changed. Nobody peeped that.
Agriculture is migration.
Thank you. The thing is, when you a master student teacher of the master teacher, you actually start finding out who the other master students are. What they do is they tend to get popular and they use the information to mislead others. They use the information for personal gain, never to liberate the people that they claim to love. These niggas are gurus. If you notice, everyone that creates their own doctrine tells you what? Everybody was originally this. It's because they need a form of control over you. This is why a nigga could tell you, I'm Yamasi. And you say, well, the Yamasi were a group of different fucking people. So what branch of Yamasi are you? And then they say, well, I am the Hichiri Yamasi. That literally put them back in Ochesi. So these same Ichisi or Hichiri speaking Yamasi became the Ochesi Creeks. Do you see? Do you hear it? You hear it, right? But a nigga tell you otherwise. A nigga will tell you that the Yamasi and the Creeks are the same. All you have to do is read the invention of the Creek Nation. And you read the invention of the Creek Nation and you say, well, if you calling the Yamasi the original Muskogee, what you are explaining is that they migrated into the southeast, which is what was explained on the land. So why do I catch so much heat when I explain that the Yamasi are not originally from this land, but originally from Africa? Even in congressional records, they explain that the Yamasi were quote unquote supposed to have been pre-Columbian Africans. And as I showed today on their pamphlet, they state that they came from Africa. So why do we catch so much heat with things like that? I'm not here to lie to you. I'm not here to even try to be your teacher. I'm just here to put out the information that you are not privy to. All of us have so many hours in the day that actually take up our day. But within that time, there's certain information that come to us, certain thoughts that come to us that lead us on a quest. When we get on these quests, we must be honest with ourselves.
What happened?
I was just about to ask the same question. I don't know.
They cut me. It's all good. Who is this? Um, so Reese, do you have any questions about this situation that could help continue the build? Cause we do have 8 people still on here listening. Auntie, if you have any questions, please ask me. Dealing with this situation, any question about anything else, you can hit me personally. So y'all can ask me anything, and we can do a little free build until about my phone die or some shit.
I had one question about the creeks, like the origin story, where they came from. I remember you had said something yesterday saying that they had came out of it was like out of a hole in the ground out in the west. Is that was that in around Texas area?
Yeah, it was all of that. Actually was all of that. The particular area was Mount was the Mapias area. Let me search this. I literally just ran in the fucking patio cause to try to share this with you so you can see what it looked like. Um,
I remember
if you
seeing
read, you
something.
got the blue fire. If you flip through the book real quick, I don't know if you have it or not.
I got it right here.
Um, I don't know if it's near you, but I actually put the Malpais volcano. um in the book it looked like the mouth of the earth or some shit like that.
Yeah, I got it right here.
So you see that particular place, right?
Yeah.
It's actually in the Rocky Mountains region. So they came out of that Rocky Mountain region. Let's see if I can pull up that book real quick. Um, excuse me. Let me see if I can pull up this book real quick. But they came out that Rocky Mountain region.
I got something to ask after that.
All right, hold on to that. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So here go one reference right here. Let me slide up real quick. So it says, okay, it says the man and the eagle is talking about, okay, at top of the Rocky Mountain. Let me see. Okay, spec. Okay, Woot Woot. He worked with Woot. Okay, survey Rocky Mountain. Rocky Mountains. The Muskogee claim to have emerged from the earth near the Rocky Mountains. And it says, according to the Hichiti myth. But again, the Hichiti are the Ichisi, right? So all these are the same people. Rocky Mountains says, according to the Hichiti myth, the Muskogee claim to have emerged from the navel of the earth near the Rocky Mountains. In M3 or Migration Legend 3, place from which the Coweta started their initial migration. So let's see, we got page 9. Let's see, according to the legend, the Abika, the Kusa. Am I sharing? Oh shit, I'm not even sharing. Give me 1 second, y'all. And cuz, go ahead. Go ahead. The boy letting off. Boom, 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 boom. Somebody just got shot at. So let me see if I can pull this up. Can y'all see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so according to legend, the Abika, Kusa, and Coweta, and the Kushita, Muskogee proper speakers, right, migrated in a series of waves into the southeast from the west. Such places as the Red River, Rocky Mountains, and Mexico have been suggested as speculative origins of these people, but no starting point for their migration has been definitively discovered. The reason being is all of those places are proper. Those all are correct. These were different groups of people that migrated out of the West, you know what I'm saying, or their current land into the East. Um, let's see. Here goes a migration story. Okay, yeah, here's a migration legend. This is the Hichiti origin. All right, so the origin of the Hichiti is given in various ways, but this is what I have heard regarding them. So this is Swanton speaking. The true name of these people was Atakata. They claimed that they had come to a place from where the sea was narrow and frozen over. Crossing upon the ice, they traveled from place to place towards the east until they reached the Atlantic Ocean. They traveled to sea from which the sun came. Do you see? They traveled to do what?
As far as what they had, so they're part of the Lenape people in there.
No. He say they travel to
You said
the
they
sun
traveled across the
rises
ice.
in the east and sets in the west. Stand up for your rights. Stand up
Yeah.
for your lefts.
Right. So you close, Reese. But these are two different groups who migrated during the same period.
Okay, that's
So
what I was
while the
wondering.
Lenape crossed in the north and came down the north, the Muskogee were already in the south. But they crossed the Missouri and crossed the Mississippi, or crossed the Red River, then the Missouri, then the Mississippi, then the Chattahoochee, then the Flint, then the, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, all
So
right.
they have a general story which identifies everybody as being Ichidi or Itza, Ishati. But then they break it down and tell you, yeah, Chickasaw and Choctaw got a story, they brothers. They eventually split because Chickasaw stayed here and Choctaw continued and went over here. But after that happened, such and such came after them and went even further to the east. And such and such and such and such came after them and even went further to the east. So this is the facts of the matter. But a nigga who came to the east will tell you he's originally from the east while superimposing his story on the fucking east. Reese, imagine if I told you, yeah, everybody Iba'a.
That's the
And it,
same thing Montezuma did. My bad.
that come on, what did Montezuma do? What did he do, cuz?
They came from the west, came sliding up on through here.
Thank
He,
you.
he told he had he didn't have no fire to bring, so he
Yep.
brought corn to the ceremony.
This is
Got,
how you get Montezunga. My bad, cuz. Gotta add on that. Go ahead.
got them people drunk off that corn whiskey.
What?
It said,
Come
"Hey
on
y'all,
now.
let's go to work. Let's get to stepping."
Come on now. Somebody got hit. Ooh. Somebody got hit. I hear them people pulling up. So our thing is this. We are not saying that everybody is Wale. What we are saying is you have to be careful with who you dealing with. You have to be more than careful with who you are dealing with. Let me see. Let me see if I can find something real quick. All right. The amazing lost tribe of the Wale. Can y'all see this screen?
Yep.
Y'all can see this screen? Okay. The Wale lived between the Ogeechee and Altamaha rivers on the coast of what is today Georgia. Most of the Wale were enslaved or wiped out by the English pirates who raided and destroyed the old Spanish Frenchian missions of Georgia. The surviving Wale moved south to St. Augustine and regrouped, building new settlement named after their ancient lost high chieftain's ancestral village of Tolomalo that the English had destroyed. When the English came to destroy St. Augustine, they burned the newer Tolomalo to the ground. Consequently, some of the remaining Wale migrated to Cuba, and others moved west to what is today Mississippi. So let's talk about just this point, just this part, right? Just this part. When we was explaining that when the Confederacy were breaking up, people started moving inland and filling up towns inland, then came back to the coast. People thought we were crazy. When we told people there were Wale living in the Chattahoochee, cuz did I not get called crazy? Niggas wanted to know how did I have that? How did I know that? How he do that? The land of the Wale. The Frisian missionaries encountered many new peoples of North America. The Spanish colonial capital of St. Augustine, right? You see? Oh, wait, got a message. Hold on. Oh, I'm gonna drop this too, cuz bet it up. So it says, first they met the Macoma, people of the tribe of the Tamuquas, and thereafter they encountered the Wale. The Spanish sometimes called this area Lingua de Wale, meaning the place where the language of Wale was spoken, which was different from the language of the Tamuquas. Okay, says the coastal territory of the Wale stretched north to the of the Altamaha River and south of the Ogeechee River. Now, this is just this is just little shit, right? But when we get into the science of it, we start to hey, these people are actually one of the oldest people in the coast, excuse me, in the Americas. Now, Cuz sent me a picture. I'm gonna actually post this picture right here on Facebook, and then I'm gonna come back. Well, then I'm gonna show you it. And this was proposed by Europeans. But not only was it proposed by Europeans, let me go ahead in my notes and let me actually find the argument for the naming of this particular land. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me go to my notes real quick. Okay, so William Gilmore Sims, right? William Gilmore Sims, basically what he proposed in the 19th century is that naming the United States of America, America was actually wrong for the simple fact that there was a name much older which dealt with all of the people which lived in the land. And here is a tab of what Cuz sent me. This is a proposed map of what the land looked like 77,000 years, a million years ago. Excuse me. And what we have here is Yuba'a, right, or Apala'a, Apala'a. When we have Apalachia, Ia is Latin. Chi would be Muskogee. Apala'a, Apala'a, or Apalahal, what gave you the original name of those people, Apala'a, meaning that which is above. Yuba'a, Iba'a, Igua'a, Yufala. All of these are the same word. So when we explain to people that even the anthropologists, even the historians understand that there were a people that predate a many of the people that claim to be the elders of the land, but they get no respect because others are lying about the story. We still don't have any
Hey,
questions.
that map
Yep.
bring that map bring a different meaning to the real word for Mississippi.
Talk to me. What you mean?
I'm just saying the real meaning of the Mississippi, and then you see how big the Mississippi is on there. Make you think a little different now.
Yeah, yeah. What it shows me is the mind is a wonderful thing, and it's best not to waste it because people didn't dedicate all this time to these works just to do it. You get what I'm saying? People dedicated themselves to these works. So to be a student, it's like going to high school or going to college. And yeah, you got your major, but you only taking one class. Like you only attending one class. You only listening to one teacher. You never ask your teacher any questions because it's not that you trust your teacher. It's not that you trust your teacher. You believe your teacher. If you trust your teacher's work, you go test your teacher's works and you be like, damn, I actually trust them to lead me. But there are a lot of people who believe in someone, believe that someone can lead them, and that person is not fit to be a leader at all. Again, fuck what the media has to say about what's going on. We have to be completely honest. When one even says the word etawa or italoa, that's a borrowed word from itaba, iba'a, right? Same thing. This pause. So there's so much that's going on in the ancient world that people have yet to grasp. And the reason they've yet to touch it is because, again, they are stuck in 1715. They're stuck in the Yamasee War of 1715. And again, for anyone to have a tribal mother, tribal elder, clan mother, whatever you want to call it, and she doesn't know that the Yama and the Tama were the same, and that's her tribal people. I personally don't think that's someone that should have a seat um, in any tribal council, because basically what you've done is you've shown us that you can be with the group for 10 years. You can march around, you can dance around the fucking fire for a decade. You can troll and wear pretty dresses in regalia for a decade and still not know shit. You can be down with somebody for 10 years and claim this tribe is your tribe. Claim a clan. You have a clan and everything. But you don't know the name. You don't know the true tribal history. Should that person have a seat at any tribal council, Auntie? If you are listening, you know she be in and out sometimes. Mutt, if you are listening, Reese, if you are listening, what do you all think about that?
Nah,
Nah.
you just gotta sit back and you know indulge from the outside.
I never understood how someone could have a position in anything and lack the cultural knowledge. I never understood how someone would want to be a part of something without making sure that their bloodline was good, making sure that their family was fucking good. See, it's not about family to these people, it's about self. A lot of people didn't get the attention they got or that they were supposed to get as children. So now they have something to offer as adults, and they give it to other adults who are just simply looking to take advantage of them. This is why my fear, right? This is why my fear. And I didn't put girls on this picture. Google put girls, I put women. I'm just so, what's the name? But it's my fear that the sisters, that the ladies, the cousins will begin to follow men that are untrustworthy. That they will believe in the words of people who are learning from historians. I am terrified for you all because a man can easily come in your life and you don't have one or you're missing one, and he can damn near tell you anything to build your confidence. And just simply of him building your confidence, you'll do what it takes to get things done on his behalf when he's wrong. There are women who are sending boys, and what I mean by boys is, in mind, you have women sending boys into wars that they are not prepared for. Once they can only take the Yamasi back to the Mississippian era, when we've, on this podcast, personally, we've taken them back to South America. We've also traced many of their origins back to Africa or present day Africa. But a nigga will tell you they originate in South Carolina. Beware of that shit. A lot of these people just want money. A nigga that's adopted into a clan and don't have the same clan as their fucking mother will tell you you don't have full clan membership rights while being the big chief, but he's adopted. You have to think about this shit. Reese, can you hear me real quick? I want to have this conversation with you because just to let people know that you know some shit. Even though you feel like you don't know, you know some shit, bro. So you don't have to conceal. When you ask the question about adoption, which one of our clans said they will adopt you?
I forgot the name of that clan, but I know you said it's like basically where the strangers go. It's like the wanderers, people who don't really have like a family.
But then, if you do have a family and you don't know what your clan is, isn't there a way that you can get that back?
Ceremony.
He will run circles around y'all. He will run circles around, bro. He will run circles around them people, bro. I don't even want to argue because this shit is just beyond me. Like, what ceremonies did one have to go through to get a clan that's different than their fucking mothers? And then why isn't that same ceremony used when people are adopted into the tribe? Because it's fucking bullshit. There is not one. Unless you go to those who actually have the ceremony. And then you will get your family back by spirit when it comes to the clan system. But a nigga who telling you you're subordinate to them is fucking adopted. Motherfuckers got 13 different tribes on their enrollment packet. Y'all don't find that suspicious? Say the Iba'a had Wale, Yamasi, Shatta, Cherokee, all these different tribal people. Shouldn't there be a tribal council for each one of these groups? And shouldn't the members of those tribal councils sit on a unified council? Now imagine being Cherokee, enrolling Yamasi, and finding out there's no Cherokee chief. Because a nigga tell you that the Cherokee are Yamasi. I like this new schedule because I don't have the time to argue. For real, bro. I don't have the time to argue. Just know there are people that assisted me because it was a time where I couldn't do certain shit because I was fucked up. The accident fucked me up, and they made sure that I could teach. I have no choice but to repay people like Shayla, like Omi, like Reese. I have no choice but to repay them. And the way by repaying them is allowing them to teach. Allowing those who said, you know what, I'm gonna submit myself to what bruh got going on because I'm actually trying to find out. I feel like he trying me a little bit. He said some slick shit, but I'm gonna ignore all that because I actually want to know. Damn, I actually found out he was doing that to me because he know other people gonna do that to me. So he was just trying to make sure I got thick skin, as opposed to lying to you and leading you on and telling you everybody's fucking Wale. I'd be a motherfucking lie. I'd be a liar.
Oh yeah, you family.
Now imagine a nigga coming into the land telling you that you them and you know better. You fucking know better.
Your
But you
blood
want to
will
be a
boil.
part of get along game.
Your blood will
You know
boil.
better. Say, bro, my shit on 1%, bro. I've been blanking, bro. Fuck that, bro. When people know better and they still do fuck shit, that tells me my shit died. Can y'all hear me on this one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. If you know some fuck shit is going on and you allow it to going on, you a fuck around too. If I knew your house got robbed and you told me your house got robbed and I looked you dead in your face like nothing happened, would you feel like I robbed you too, right? Mm-mm-mm. Let's see. Let's see.
Now
Mike
you
check.
right about that. That's like somebody take it from you, and then the person that took from you help you search in all of the wrong place.
Am I on cue? Can you hear me on Mike?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm on cue because it was a minute back from what I was looking at. But now when we take what you said, this is why I love White Fire, right? Because when White Fire speak, I listen. White Fire isn't peace; it's simply mercy. It's definitely not peace. I guarantee you, it's fucking mercy. So when we listen to what Cuz said, it's like somebody helping you look in all the wrong places. Imagine somebody knowing the facts of the matter but continuously feeding you bullshit. And you know it's bullshit and you rock with it. You a bullshitter. You don't want what's best for you. You want what make you feel like you have to avoid conflict. I'm not that nigga. Yes, I'd rather be your friend, but I'm not avoiding no conflict. I didn't choose it. You did. I'm a Virgo. Trust me. I didn't choose to fight you. You chose it. I whoop your ass. People think this shit is a game. People are literally going to sleep and having visions of people they've never seen before. They're getting messages from beings and spirits they've never had contact with until they came across certain information. This is how you unlock those doors. These are the keys to unlock those doors. You have to study to unlock certain things within your DNA. This is why they're called DNA explosions. Dagger. Because contrary to popular belief, you may have to read something in order for that to wake up a part of your genetic code so you can start cracking other codes. DBD, don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. And while you study, kiss. Keep it simple and sweet. Or as I like to say, keep it simple for stupid. It's a lot of stupid motherfuckers out here. And you all that are listening will be the ones to educate the stupid motherfuckers. You have to be a doctor in this game. You have to have patience. Y'all know I always got the key phrases. You have to be a doctor in this game. You have to have patience. See, Shayla got patience. Shayla be spending 12 hours out her day delivering fucking babies. So I know if she had the time to sit down and explain some shit, the majority of the people wouldn't understand because it will become a lecture to them. It'll become, damn, she's speaking at me. She's not teaching me because y'all got weak fucking nuts. You got weak tits. I know Omi will put fear in niggas. Niggas think they're better than people. But when you have a woman that knows who she is, that make a man stand up when she walk in the room. That's the type of presence that we're dealing with. You ain't got that type of presence. I don't want to be around you. No time for the weak. No time for anyone to feel like, oh, yeah, I'm right, but they're going to go against me, so I'd rather be wrong. Fuck that. If you were raised like that, then you were raised like that. It is what it is. I wasn't raised like that. Everybody can be wrong. If I know I'm right, I'm not going to make myself wrong to satisfy the fucking crowd. I know who I am. You can't change who I am, especially if you don't have the same clan as me. You're a fucking toad. I'm sorry for anybody who's toad clan. I'm just saying. Auntie toad, grandma toad, this not toys. You feel me, Mont? I'm
Hey, I
talking
got a
about.
question. Yeah, I
Talk
feel
to
you.
me. Talk to me.
I had to trace back to what I was the question I had earlier. It's not a, it's a general, I guess.
I'm just talking shit. I'm listening.
When we was doing that build earlier, and I said that the government gave the remains at what
To
was
the
that
gullah, to the get you
Fort
right, right.
Stewart back to the Gullah, then why wouldn't they do that with the Okmulgee? I mean Kalamuki,
That's a
both of them.
great question. That's a great question.
Because I read the document after reading that, I went and searched that, and then I looked up the document, and they actually had a ceremony of reburial
So when these bones were found, they was found at the Irene Mound site.
at the Irene and the Fort Stewart, which was they said across the savannah from
Right.
Irene.
That yeah, and that's what Auntie them was digging up the bones and shit at the mounds.
Right. So those women there was probably of the Gullah-Geechee.
Actual fact. You seen the baskets in the
They
pipes.
get and it shows some of them. So they gave the remains back to them, and then they had a national, I mean not national, but they had a ceremony of reburial.
Mm-hmm. So why don't they do the
Th-
same with these other mound sites?
Right.
Especially being the Irene mound sites are even older than Kolamoki mound sites. I bet your bitch won't argue with me. Hop your stupid ass in the
Exactly.
comments and get smoked tonight. Hop your dumb ass in them comments and get your ass rolled up into a motherfucking Bob Marley with extra grabber. But smoke your stupid ass. But a nigga wanna claim shit that's older than their migration story. Ain't that fucking insane? And then it's people that's a part of the fucking so-called tribal nation whose bloodline is older than the so-called tribal nation, but afraid to teach the facts of the matters. If you are currently watching this video, please leave me a like. That way my likes can get up and shit. Don't be a hater. Don't be a hater all your natural born life. And if you did like the video, you are amazing. I've been loving y'all, but just so you can hear it, I love all of you that have been tapped in this whole time. Any other questions? Do we have any questions?
I had a
Do
question
we have?
about the. You said the DNA explosion said when you read stuff, that makes you unlock more memories or have more
Mm-hmm.
connection with your past.
Facts. Talk to me.
It just make me think. I remember when I was telling you about when I was having that vision of being in a swamp and seeing a bunch of other Indians and some chief. And they like took me up to the chief to talk to him with my aunt.
What you doing in July? Ah, you'll see me up there at the top of that Temple Mound, cuz don't worry. I'll meet you there. You got a good soul, bro. You feel me? Your mom actually came on here a couple times and built with us. Um, Anybody that is watching, if you want to come with us in July, please do come. As Mutt would say or will say, if you are looking forward or your family looking forward to actually start putting in work, just make sure you bring that folder, right? If you need any particular details or specific details, I'll actually email those to you on what you need exactly. Because it's all about doing it the Iba'a way, right? Or the proper way. Um, and we're not for uh the bullshit, right? We're not with and for the bullshit. Um, I will tell you that your family actually has to have some things to uh even qualify, right? So there's a certain amount of information that has to be had. There's certain paperwork or actually family documents that are needed. Outside of that, being that we do have a tribal council and a tribal treasury, we expect that every family has their own with certain weights, right, on certain things. Eventually those will be explained. If you do have me on TikTok, I guarantee you seen it earlier today. If not, I'll repost it tomorrow. But the goal for July is to properly educate those attenders on the Southeast. If you do plan on staying on the staying at the complex, please make sure you contact me so we know that you're staying. If you do have family that's coming down that may not want to stay at the complex but may want to be put up in the hotel that's very nearby, contact us for that also. Um, Things are definitely going well. They're going much better than they were before. So the lines of communication are always open, but uh they're always open, but things are better. So trust me, the responses and the replies are much faster. Um, let's see. Any other questions, Reese? Do you have any questions about the Iba'a or about the Yamasi origins or anything that you may want to know? Again, bruh, I'm on 6 days, cuz so this the literally the only night I'm free. So if anybody have any questions, y'all gonna have to ask them now.
Remember you had said something about the original Caribs or the Indians down there in the Caribbean and I guess around northern South America. I think you said something about them having like some DNA linked back to the Abaja.
All right, that's yeah. Inquiry. Not a question, but an inquiry. Um, look up. Let me see if I can find this shit for you. And then, matter of fact, bro, you definitely do your thing, bro. So what I'll do if I can't find it, okay, boom. This is what you're gonna look up. I want you to Google out of Florida PDF, right? The PDF is called Out of Florida Examining the South American Model of the Archaic Caribbean Settlement. Now, I do want to say this while I'm here. If you hear me say archaic, understand that my dialect is very different when you actually speak and understand different languages. Sometimes it's kind of hard to pronounce English words because you want to pronounce them how they're actually written. So this is what you should be looking at right here, Reese. If you did go ahead and Google it, or anybody that Googled this page, you should be looking at Out of Florida examining the South American model of the archaic or the archaic Caribbean settlement. Excuse me, you can download this particular PDF. You can download it for free. You can even actually talk to one of the authors that dealt with this. When you read this particular text, what it will eventually tell you is that there are tribes in South America that share a matrilineal descent with the Gullah or the Gullah people. And it then tell you that while the Gullah didn't migrate into South America themselves, they have an older ancestor that actually did, right? And that older ancestor, which is crazy, just so happened to be um, an indigenous woman. Yeah, that ancestor that traveled down basically eventually happened to be an indigenous woman. It says, let me share this tab. It says consistent with those findings was E.J. Portera, AJPA report which found in the Gullah population. It says, quote, with respect to the Native American influence, there is evidence of female Native American contributions in these African American populations. It said in the Gullah, they end up finding, they only tested a small group, but it said found it, individuals with haplogroup A through D, and I think Z, if not mistaken, and not being mistaken. And again, like I say, they explain what was what there. So if you do have the time to go ahead and read that particular PDF, that's something that you can grab. I also want you to take time when you do have to grab the struggle for the Georgia coast, because that'll help you understand what was going on the coastal lands between 1650 and about 1690, 1700. You get what I'm saying? A lot of
Yeah.
people don't have that, bro.
So
So when you talk to us
in
and
that
we get
in the first PDF, was it showing the remains of the woman that they had found?
which one? Say it again.
One, the examination of the South America, was it showing the remains of
No,
the woman that they had found?
no. They
So I
didn't
was
show the
wondering.
remains in there. If you want to see any Wale remains outside of my book, you can read the bioarchaeology of Santa Catalina.
Because I was wondering if it was like one of the three that had found. It said it was like one of the oldest remains they found down in South America. One being like Lucia, I think, and then it was like another woman they had found. It was like curled up into a ball.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's down there in South America. I viewed that a long time ago. If you actually study that story too, there are people that left what we call it Easter Island, that eventually landed in South America, or those particular Yuchi that left Easter Island, landed in South America, eventually made this the
Yeah.
southeastern United States. There's a lot to this, right? But being that you are someone that's sincere in your studies, trust me, you gonna get all of this, bro.
Well, I
You
kind of already
deserve
had the
it.
little
Trust
the Pacific Islander story coming to South America because I had talked to a lot of them that's like involved in their tribes out there in the on them islands.
facts, actual facts, and they tell you what the ancestors came over there on what on boats.
Yeah, they say we have like some connection with each other.
Stop playing. So while there are connections, we still have our own individual origins or creations and migration stories, right? Once you have the migration, these is when these stories start to actually come together. But one must remember when it comes to these different groups of people, we all have different beings that created us specifically. So one may have been created by beings that may be from Orion, Dracos, the Draconian star system, or Pleiades, right? But all of this comes with creation and migration. This is why all of this matters. So when you gravitate towards certain people, you have to attempt to understand how did you even get to that point, not why or even when. Just how did I even get to this point to gravitate towards this person to even grab this information? That comes even with DNA explosions, which started this particular conversation, right? You can read something or hear something that wakes up an ancestor within you, and now you have 500 years, 5,000 years, 50,000 years, 500,000 years, 5 million years, 50 million years worth of information based off that one connection.
That was another question I meant to ask you too. You was talking about the star system. So, what star system does the Wale come from?
Orion,
All right.
the original, come from there, which is a hint in the medicine wheel, which is also a hint in the Nile Valley, which is also a hint in Asia. There's a hint in South America. There's a reason that everyone positions the sun in red, yellow, and blue. We're talking about primary colors, the things that we can see physically. We only see black because it's made lighter than what it should be. When all is, the lights are off, then everything is what it is. But when we get these different colors, it's based off this spectrum that's created by you know what I'm saying? And eventually this spectrum becomes Roy G. Biv. But within this spectrum, there are certain colors that are natural, right? Or primary, as they may say. And you can take these and mix these at certain percentages and get the rest of the spectrum. So this is why a black and a white were rarely used, because in reality you don't see what's pure and you don't see what's in the darkness. So red, yellow, and blue were usually used. These are similar to the now when they have a Munray, or excuse me, a Tunray, or a Tumray, a Tunray, and a Munray, which would be red, yellow, and blue. Different positions of the sun. This is the same thing on Orion, or what one would call Orion. You have places that have triple sunsets or even dual sunsets. And then you have places that only men come from and only women come from. And you have places where the genders aren't simply XX and XY in layman's terms. They're now XXY and XYX and YYX and YXY and YX. You see, you get where I'm going with this? There's so much into this that goes into what we were even made of, that once you get into what actually is, then we begin to talk about what made us, what made our people. How did we get this spirit? Why does this energy work for us, or why does this energy work against us? Why aren't these colors or these foods for us? Or why is my breathing pattern completely different from this family's breathing pattern? All of this actually goes into the science of what is. Fuck his story. Now we can get into the science. These people group up or usually link up and do things this way because there's something in their DNA that unified them in the ancient world. Nobody has time to talk about this at this time. Nobody wants to talk about it. There's a reason certain people grew up without clans, grew up without tribes, but then gravitated towards the gang life. And then in gravitating towards the gang life, you actually begin to learn the structure, the same structure in which the clan was built. So there was something in your DNA that led you to understand the structure first, and then bring the information back to the family once you was able to grow in the structure. These are things that must actually be talked about. Oh, I joined the military. Okay, well, you had to learn rank. You had to learn a discipline before you can actually teach others how to be disciplined. You first had to be taught yourself, because you are a future teacher. I've been on 2 hours, 47 minutes. It's almost midnight for me. Any more questions? Anybody? We good?
Yeah, nephew, you good?
Say less. I definitely be on tomorrow, Auntie. I ain't mean to keep you up all night.
That's okay. I didn't have anything else to do. What else am I-
LOL, nothing but sit at this green fire. So,
Exactly, and listen to Zed snoring.
LOL. But yeah, I'm not gonna hold everybody. I definitely appreciate everybody that stayed up with me.
Make
Um,
sure this one is saved,
oh yeah, bro, cause I don't know what
cause
happened to me
cause cause I,
snapping.
cause I miss my guy Reem, man. He ain't tapped in.
Please.
Listen, we all good. Everybody, like I say, please leave me a beautiful like. If you like the video, please comment. Please come back and leave a comment. on the regular video as opposed to the live comments. That way I can like your comment, shoot you a response if you do have a question. This may be a regular thing. I actually pray that this is a regular thing, that I'm working the 6 days a week. Um, for me, 6 days a week, 1,700. I'm loving it right now. So y'all just catch me new time, Saturday night, once a week. If you have any questions, hit me in my inbox. If you got my number, just hit my phone. Um, we got a lot of good things going on. I didn't want to target anyone, but when you have a fat neck elder um that's out of shape, when you have an elder that doesn't walk around the block, when you have an elder that doesn't know her own tribal information, somebody has to step in and correct that bullshit. If you are a man or a male, it's best for you to use your own discernment, as there are many men who have been either incarcerated or placed in graves behind a lying ass fucking woman. And if you are a woman, that mother instinct is natural. You don't need to waste that on someone who's willing to set you up for failure, especially if you have a beautiful soul. I will leave you all with this message. Before you can do for others, you first have to be able to do for yourself. Before you can speak up for others, you first have to learn how to speak up and how to defend yourself. The only person in the world who wants you to be better than them is your father. Now, if you don't have your father, you are at risk of falling in love with someone who appears as a spiritual father, but is willing to do the same thing that your father did, and that is neglect you in the middle of your path. As someone that was raised with their daddy, you hear the difference. I got a daddy, somebody that could tell me to shut the fuck up, and I would shut the fuck up. When you have someone that you can look up to, that you can sit down next to, not at their feet, but you can sit next to them and gain something that makes you feel proud, that you can walk out or leave that conversation as a better person. You look at that person either as a spiritual father or as a brother. This is someone that doesn't care about you. They give a fuck about you. You need to focus on those who give a fuck about you. And that first person is yourself. You can't save a soul if yours isn't saved. You can't educate someone if you aren't educated. Take the time to study. It's okay to be the student, but you have to study. Your mama can't take the test for you. Not when you're the chosen one. Grandma can't take the test for you because she chose you. So she might be the one testing you. You never know. Take the time to be the student. You don't know it all. You don't know everything. Anyone who claims to know everything is a goddamn liar. You know you don't know it all. You know that you have to get better. Take the time to get better. Stop attempting or stop competing with people that don't give a fuck about you. Compete with you yesterday. Be better today than you were yesterday, and I guarantee you'll be way more happier than you were 3 days ago. Because now you 3 times better than the fuck you were on 3 days ago. Stop allowing men to lead you. Stop allowing men to lead you. Stop allowing liars to lead you. Study these people's bloodlines. Study the history of these people. Be honest with yourself. If you not honest with you and I lie to you, how the fuck you gonna be mad at me for lying to you and you ain't keeping it real with yourself? You know this nigga's lying. And instead of calling out the lie, you would rather attempt to do damage control. That's a form of fear. The only person that ever walked the planet that I was ever scared of was in the motherfucking wheelchair. That's my daddy. The only person that ever punched me in my shit and lived to see the next day literally is my father in a wheelchair. And niggas will let somebody who's not related to them mislead them in the most terrible way. I'm coming in the house, sexy lady. I know you're getting thick. So hey, look, I'm about to hop off because it's Mr. Nasty time. You feel me? It's Mr. Nasty time. It's Mr. Nasty time. So everybody on live, I will be on tomorrow at 11. My phone dead. So tomorrow at 11. Much love, y'all.
Nah, you gotta do it after 11, bro.
After 11, cuz, what happened? Cuz,
Yeah,
say less.
I got booked. I gotta do a job in the morning.
Ooh, say less. Just hit my phone. Let me know what's up.
All right, but
Hey, Reese, much love, bro. Thank you for coming through. I told you you know a lot more than you think. I be knowing this shit, bro. You was in the Navy anyway, bro. You think you feel me? You be low key with the bullshit, but I know you be knowing, bro.
Yeah, I be studying a little bit. I've been studying for the past few years. And
Go back on mute. Tell me a little bit. I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to you. This man be listen. The questions that bro asked me let me know that he already ahead of the game. That's why I had to put the pressure that I put because you can't rock with me and somebody convince you otherwise. You know what you know. How the fuck somebody gonna convince you otherwise? Auntie, when I was little, I thought you was my mama. It took paperwork to convince me otherwise. Who knew that you would be the clan mother? My mama. See what I'm saying? I let the paperwork convince me otherwise. I got multiple mothers. With that being said, my wife looking at me with her hand on her hip because it's Mr. Nasty time. I got that good thing. So I'm gone. Auntie, that's the XXL. I told you. Y'all need to
I
go
know.
ahead. Just it ain't no good.
and I'm tapping out. Oh man.
That's the
Go ahead and
XXL,
do
man.